Welcome back to yet another video. Today we are going to discuss about Spring Boot Actuator and its endpoints, how to enable them, what are the Maven dependencies you need to add, and we also will have a look at when to use it and what is the purpose, and also some features, and also the live example. Now this video, as I mentioned, will be all about what exactly is the actuator when it comes to Spring Boot. Okay, so what is the advantages, why it is used, when to use it, and what exactly it plays a role of an in Spring Boot. The actuator plays a role, right? How to enable it, what are the different endpoints which are available to as a Spring Boot actuator, what are the some security consideration we should consider about it, and actually we'll look at the live example. So these are the all the terms and the things which will be looking out inside this video. So please stay back and watch out each step by step. Now, what is Spring Boot Actuator? Basically, it is an built-in tool which is provided by the Spring Boot, comes as a part of the ecosystem. Now, what it actually provides you some production-ready features that will not only help you monitor, but also it will help you to manage your application quite effectively. Now there are certain endpoints which you can be useful and which will be exposed, okay, which will provide you certain endpoint insights about your applications, whether what is the health, what is the matrices, what are the configuration in your application. So you can, so that you can keep track of these things, how their application is running in the real time. So that's the Spring Actuator, okay. So it comes as part of the Spring Boot boot. Now, what is the advantage? So there must be some advantage, right? That's the reason we use it. Now, efficiently monitoring. So when you add the Spring Boot actuator, you can easily gather some matrices like what is the memory usage, what are the active threads present, what are the database connections, all in one place only. Okay, so you need to expose certain endpoints, and you will be able to see that actually in everything in the actuator. Now there are some health monitoring related things which you can check, like how is your application health, what are the dependencies, like we have database, message broker. So if there is something which is going wrong, you will be able to get that information. Now the deep application insight, so if you will get all the information related to the application's environment, the system properties, what are the configuration, so that it is quite easy to track down any issues which is coming. Now with respect to security, you can expose or you can either restrict some sensitive information, like ensuring only authorized person can access it. You can endpoint some. Okay, so you can add those security benefits over there. Now it's quite user friendly. So setting is not a cumbersome. It is quite easy. That it requires a minimal configuration. Okay, so that is what the benefit about it. Now it is quite customizable as well, so you have to write your own endpoints as well if you need to do something beyond the built-in which one is provided. Okay, so that's the benefit. Now what is the actuator used for? Okay, so primarily, as I mentioned, it is used for the production environment to keep an eye on the health information, the performance of the Spring Boot application. Now it is a tool that is going to monitor your simpler, and it is going to make you more efficient. So it is going to allow you to check certain things like application health, performance, matrices, and some internal states. Now this is very crucial when your application is running, okay, and there is something wrong going on, right? So especially you have a very large application, or whether the application is deployed at a distributed environment, right? So for issue detection, like and the resolution, these matrices are quite important. Now when to use it? It is best for the application where your application is deployed in the production, so that you can track all the performance. You need to check the health of your application. You will expose, you want to get some insight of the application, the real time, right, data of it. you want to debug something, you want to troubleshoot something, you need some details about it, that is where we will use it. Now the role actually it plays is that it is pretty straightforward. It is provide you built-in tools so you can monitor, manage and troubleshoot your application. So nothing complex. It is going to simply do this thing. So it is going to expose the endpoints. You are going to get the information and you can enable or you can track that for monitoring purpose, or you can manage some things, or you can respond something. Okay, so that's what the role it plays, and it's basically more efficient when we are using it in the production. Now, how do you enable it? You can enable it using the adding the dependency in the pom.xml. Then you have to configure. So there are not all the dependency or endpoints are enabled. You have to explicitly add the endpoints in the application.properties, and then there will be exposed. So if you see here in the properties, you will see the in the web exposure includes. I have actually added health info and metrics related things. So this will enable all the matrices and which will be available as an endpoint. Okay, so in the whole URL you have to enable. I mean, you will be able to access it with the actuator and then the actual endpoint what you want to access, right? That's the endpoints. Now we'll look at the list of endpoints which are there. So one is health. You'll give you the quick status about your health. Matrices, which will give you the memory usage, thread. Beans, if there are any application you have configured beans in that, you will be displaying. Environment related, what kind of environment, system properties, etc. Some info like basically about your information, the build version, description, etc. Thread dump, right? Audit events, logger, mapping, heap dumps, some traces, right? These are all the information which will be available and you can use it. Okay. Uh, Now we'll look at the security consideration. Now there is an actuator, like we'll be exposing some endpoints, right? So it might be quite sensitive information which we have built in added, right? Like health information, the system related. So it should not be enabled for everybody, right? So only the desired person should be able to access it. So in that actually you can have some properties defined, like you doesn't need to show this particular detail never, or this or the endpoints, right, which you want to expose, right? So you can integrate with the Spring security and you can have more granular control of it, right, by providing the protection layer. Now let's look at the live example. For creating the Spring Boot application, you have to visit this particular start.spring.io. Here you have to select the Maven version, then the Java language, and then the stable version, the Spring Boot stable version. Ensure that you are not selecting any snapshot or M2 versions, because these are not yet fully tested and not available after the testing, right? So make sure you are getting the stable version, which is the latest version. Now I've written the group ID, artifact ID, name, and the demo details, and then I've chosen the jar and then the package. And after that, what I've done is that I've added two dependencies over here. One is web and one is the actuator, and then I've generated the code over here. Once that the project is downloaded, I've opened it into the IntelliJ. So how you can do is that you can open this particular project from here and go to that particular, navigate to that particular folder and open that particular project. Now under this, I wanted you to have a look at this. Now if you have checked out, like at the root, what is the version, right? Now there is an parent details. This is a starter dependency, and then the artifact ID, group ID, and other details. Along with that, now if you go a little bit down, the Java version is mentioned over here. Here, if you see, there is a dependency what is added for the actuator and the web, right? So this is what I've added in the that particular online portal, right? So I've added that and it is downloaded here. Now, if you look at this, right, uh, what we have spoken about is that we have certain properties which we need should be enabled. Now here actually if you see on my machine there is some certain problem, so I have added the port number over here as a 9000, and then if you look at it over here, let's make that application up and see, like you will be able to see what are the matrices or the applications, right? Now if you look at this, now if you see here, if you go to just actuator, you will not be able to see anything. But if you see the health over here, so this is by default enabled. Okay, now it doesn't need to do much thing about it, right? Now if you go to the info over here, right, see this is not enabled explicit. Now what you have to do is that you have to enable it. Okay, I'm rerunning this particular project over here. Okay, now if you go here, now this will be enabled for you, right? Now if you see here, these are enabled. I have got some matrices over here also, right? Health is there. Okay, so these are the endpoints which we have already looked into. Okay, there will be heap dump which will be enabled. Now if you see, this is going to be downloaded over here. If you see here, this is downloaded over here, the heap dump, right? There are different endpoints. Okay, uh, beans are not available as of now, but yeah, this can be enabled. Okay, uh, now you will see logger as well, right? See here, the logger is enabled. Earlier it was not enabled. Now if I stop my application, right, and if I try to run this, right, you'll not be able to see that, right? That is the point. So that is has to be explicitly enabled, right? See here. Okay, now it is available. I hope this video was helpful to you, and it gives you an insight of what is Spring Boot Actuator, how to enable the configuration, what are the dependencies needs to be added, when to use it, where to use it, and what benefit it gives you. And we also look at the live example, how to create a project and how to add the dependencies, and then we enable the endpoints, right? And what are the settings needs to be done in the properties file. So I hope this video was helpful to you and also gave you an insight of it. Also, please share it with the needy people who are looking out for the videos of such kind. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching.